Hello, everybody. Good evening. That was a spectacular intro. I don't think I can do much better than that. In fact, most of my speech has probably been already said. But thank you, NCSA, for the recognition, and to my fellow Ferrara colleagues who made it down from Chicago tonight to share and support this achievement. Really, that is company-wide. When I was thinking of this award and how candy and gum has made an impact on my career when I was driving down, I kind of flashed back to a couple different items. I've been lucky enough to work on some really cool brands and products over the years that included functional chewing gums, Eclipse products, gum, and flash strips back in the day. Baby bottle pop, ring pop, juicy drop pop. And then ultimately the Nestle legacy products like Nerds, Sweet Tarts, Runs, Gobstoppers, all those fun products. And now Ferrara with Lemonheads and Black Forest and Trophy and Brock. So I think a lot of that work that I have done over the years really is due to the impact mentors have had on my career. And there's been two mentors particularly that have really helped me. One is Gary Kehoe. He used to work for Nabisco. He also was the CEO of Gumtech International out in Arizona. I started my career with him and gave me a chance and kind of helped show me what working in a food lab was all about, learning about ingredients and their functionality. It was a great start to my career, and then as things started rolling forward, Dave McGranahan at Nestle and then Ferrara was really key. I worked with him for almost 19 years before he retired. Those of you that know Dave, learned so much from him. Really need to thank him for elevating my career to where the type of scientist that I am today. As a product developer, we work on innovation and renovation, and for innovation, the biggest impact for me was Nerds brand. I've been working on it now for 20 years, and I feel it's even longer than that because when I was in middle school in the mid-'80s, I used to love chewing gum. Gum was one of the things that Big League Chew came out, and I was a baseball player, and I just loved it, but I couldn't stand the fact that the flavor would die, as we all know, after about 5 minutes. So when Nerds came out, I had this grand idea as a middle schooler that I would literally add it to my gum as I was chewing to get flavor spike to see that it'll have the flavor last longer. Fast forward 30 years, and here I am now taking the same Nerds, and instead of gum, I'm mixing it with gummies. So it was an incredible transformation, I think, for me. So one of the main drivers, of course, that product that I'm talking about is the big heat that we know is Nerds gummy clusters. And you saw on the slides, I don't need to say the numbers, which were incredible, but one of the main drivers I wanted to do for Nerds gummy clusters, developing it, was I wanted to bring adults back to the brand. As an adult, I love Nerds, but for whatever reason, just as adults, we don't maybe eat Nerds candy as much as we did when we were kids. So I wanted to find a way, how do I bring adults back to the brand instead of making Nerds just known as kids candy? So I had this vision that I wanted to really create a product that was crunchy and chewy equal parts. I wanted it to be poppable. I wanted it to be small, almost like a jelly bean. And all of this ideas, no matter what, I wanted it to be flavorful. And that's a great thing, as we know about Nerds, is that there's so much flavor, so much intensity. So all of these ideas were percolating. I started coming up with concepts, but then commercialization, how do we get there? And it was all of the help of all cross-functional teams with Ferrara that got me to the point of commercialization. I have to thank the executive leadership team, Heather Boggs and Greg Gudati at the time, that gave me the okay and supported me with this product. A brand manager championed it, as you heard, with the video. Quality, regulatory, operations, all these cross-functional groups as a team during commercialization. I couldn't do it without them. And as a team, we were led by Laura Wing, who you heard on the video, a project manager, did a hell of a job keeping all of us on track to meet the commercialization time frame. So all of the cross-functional groups, all of us together were the ones that made the biggest impact on the success of the product, and we couldn't do it without each and every one of us at Ferrara. Finally, when I think about the impact that candy has just on everyday lives, when I was a kid, like every other kid, I loved candy, and I used to go to my grandma's, and she had a candy bowl of twist wrapped butterscotch candies that to this day I absolutely love. And I used to be so happy to get to her house just to get the candy. But then she also used to buy Topps baseball cards. My brother and I loved, of course, but we also loved that really hard, if you remember, stick a gum in there, powdery. It would fall apart, but God, we loved that gum, no matter what. And it just brought joy to Sean that was 5 or 6, 7 years old. And I had an echo of that memory when I was at a convenience store in Chicagoland area about a month ago. I was in a store called Casey's, which is a local Chicago convenience store. I was behind a man and his son. And his son was jumping up and down as I'm standing there. And I didn't really hear what was going on, but then I heard the dad say, "Okay, go ahead and pick one piece of candy." And the kid walked right over to the shelf and picked up a Nerds Gummy Cluster package. And as he came back in line, he was so excited, the joy and the happiness on his face. I realized that was me, 40, not dating myself, 45 years ago. But I saw then the impact that we do, our industry does, it's just incredible. So again, thank you very much, NCSA, for this award. I really appreciate it, and Ferrara, of course, appreciates it too. But thank you very much. Thank you.